I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
What do I owe the? What do I owe the pleasure? What do I owe the pleasure? The last time we been together, we wash your car for you. We wash your car. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. When you got them getting it to that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good like y'all better stop buying this slippery soap, man. What's going on there?
The streets have been buzzing, but nobody saw this coming. 50 Cent just unleashed some explosive tapes that have Rick Ross on edge like never before. This isn't your average hip-hop feud anymore, this is next-level drama. We've got the full scoop on how these leaked tapes involving Ross and Diddy shook the internet. Trust me, when you hear what's on them, you'll understand why Ross seems ready to burn the entire industry to the ground. The way 50 Cent orchestrated this. Legendary and messy.
Bruh, just like New York, just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bruh. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bruh, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace. It's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell, because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, you know, a few albums, a few people, you know, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, Diddy's situation is because they've been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bruh, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house.
Let me tell you, 50 Cent has been playing the longest game in hip-hop history. This all started back in 2009 when Ross came at 50 with the Officer Ricky nonsense. At the time, people thought it was just another rap beef. But 50, he was thinking long-term. While Ross was out there throwing jabs and flexing his Wingstop money, 50 was sitting back, collecting receipts, and plotting like a chess master for years. 50 kept his moves quiet, letting Ross feel untouchable. Then, just as Ross was flaunting his new Checkers franchise and other business ventures, 50 struck. If you were paying attention to 50's Instagram before the bomb dropped, you'd notice the cryptic posts, tick, 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 time's running out. Nobody knew what was coming. Then, out of nowhere, 50 hit the gram with the first tape. No captions. No warnings. Just pure destruction.
But he had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you know you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bro. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean. It's what it is.
The reaction was immediate and wild. Industry executives called emergency meetings, PR teams scrambled, and anyone remotely connected to Ross or Diddy went radio silent. This wasn't just a diss track or an old DM leak, this was calculated annihilation. Ross was in the middle of a business meeting when his phone started blowing up. At first, he thought it was just another one of 50's jokes. But when he saw the footage, everything changed. And here's the kicker, this was just the first tape. Word on the street is 50 has been sitting on a vault of receipts, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash them. This wasn't just a chess move, it was a whole revenge saga in the making.
Doesn't mean I'm confirming or I'm 100% factual, but it's somebody in this story of things that seems more reliable than others, Race, is what I'll say it, just to protect my sources. But this source informed me of who these A-list celebrities are on these tapes that are being allegedly auctioned off online and through the networks. And it's put me in a little bit of a bind because I like to be fully transparent with the audience. I want to say things, but I also realize from what I'm told, because again, I haven't seen them directly yet. I haven't. And I don't know if I want to. Race, I want your advice on that too. But the problem I have is just like, typically I want to report these things, but I got to be careful legally, ethically, morally as to what we report on here. Because as Ariel, the lawyer here, did admit, and I can attest based on the information I got from a separate reliable source, people in these videos don't know they're being videotaped. That's a big issue, Race, right? Let's start out right there. If there are people on these tapes that don't know that they were being filmed, is that okay to talk about and to share?
I have a big problem with that, as do you, Andy. And you tend to be an ethical guy, and you're taking the high ground here. Notwithstanding the fact that you may have some significant information and reliable information. But the reality is that, look, I mean, if people were recorded non-consensually and you are the one to identify them, I think that's a problem, right? And I think anytime anyone has content, right, this is not an email, this is not a text message, this is video. Right. And there's specific statutes without using specific language I don't want to get into, but everybody knows what we're talking about here.
It's Diddy with this person. I'll say that. It's Diddy with this person. Actually, yes.
Yeah. And see, the problem is, again, like non-consensually recorded, you've got a victim here who may not want to be publicly identified. That's the problem. That's the problem. And they have a right to proceed if they want to, whether it's criminally or civilly, without being identified, because we know what's going to happen. As soon as they identify themselves, there's going to be a bunch of people that come out of the woodwork who are going to unequivocally harass them and claim that didn't happen, and they're making stuff up. And there's the victims that we want to protect here. And that's significant.
Well, it's interesting because here's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I know a lot of you are like, Andy, just say it. No, I'm not going to say them, but I wanted to have this conversation as to why we're not saying it and why I think others haven't yet said it, Raised, because again, legally, ethically, morally, it's just not right. Now there's an argument I've had with people who are like, well, they knew what they were doing with Diddy. Like these were consensual acts, like they knew, and he filmed other times. So I don't know what the big deal is. It's going to come out. It's going to come out is what I keep hearing from other reliable sources. It may come out, but it's not going to come out via me. That's just to warn you all, because I don't think it's wise for us to put out something like you just confirmed it without the consent of the other person in the video. Because again, from what I'm gathering based on some of these tapes, and again, we're still learning more and I haven't seen them with my own eyes.
Remember how Ross always denied certain business dealings? These tapes blew those claims wide open. The footage shows Ross in compromising situations with Diddy at private parties and talking about deals he'd spent years denying. One clip even has Ross casually bragging about shady arrangements with up-and-coming artists. The revelations didn't just expose Ross, they linked back to old rumors about how he got his start in the industry. Suddenly, all those stories he worked so hard to shut down were resurfacing, and the tapes painted a very different picture.
Isn't it weird that the government was so interested in Diddy's baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house? If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was gonna find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You gotta realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They got to test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are being arrested.
The industry's reaction has been wild. An anonymous executive described the tapes as career-ending material. Ross's label reportedly held emergency meetings because nobody knew what other bombs 50 might have. This wasn't just damaging Ross's reputation, it was hitting his empire. Wingstop, Checkers, brand partnerships, all of it was at risk. And every time Ross tried to explain things away, 50 hit back with another clip. It was like 50 had been shadowing Ross for years, waiting for the perfect time to strike.
If you ever seen a person getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses, do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see. See if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyric. What is it effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rubbed it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness, and that's under the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration.gov.
When Ross finally responded, it was chaos. He went live on Instagram, pacing back and forth in a 15-minute rant full of threats and accusations. It was clear he hadn't slept. Instead of denying the tapes, Ross started threatening 50's life, exposing secrets, and even dropping addresses of 50's family. Ross's PR team scrambled to contain the damage, but he kept going rogue. Burner accounts, reckless posts, and live streams. It was a meltdown in real time. Even his closest business partners were begging him to stop, but Ross was burning bridges faster than anyone could rebuild them.
Activities with other, A-listers having activities together is what this is. And again, that's a potentially outing of somebody as well. You know what I mean? There's so many things here that happen in releasing of this private consensual moment that while salaciously everybody wants to know, and people are messaging me all the time, Andy, who's waiting? And it's like, I'm not gonna say, because there seem to be way too many things that these people in the tapes, whether consensual, whether they, whatever, didn't agree to put out there. And I would think that's a legal issue too for anybody who puts these out first, no?
Yeah, you nailed it. You can't without the consent of the victim. That's the problem. Somebody thinks that somebody has no idea, right? You said, well, didn't they know they're being recorded? No. I mean, in these situations, the assumption is they did not know. And that's what we believe right now is the victims did not know that they were being recorded. If the victim comes out and says, okay, yes, I knew I was recorded, and a statement is provided, that's a different story. But of course, you don't know that. So you, Andy, probably can't be the one to break that ice and be like, well, this is what I heard and this is what I know, and so I'm going to say it. And there's all kinds of hairy legal issues on that, right? With privacy and intrusion on seclusion is what we call it. It's a privacy violation. There could be defamation implications. There could be criminal implications. So you're doing the right thing by treading carefully. And I think more people should do this rather than get into speculation. Now, if you see the videos, even still, right? If somebody takes...
Not to interrupt, but that's the question. Like, am I allowed to see these videos? Like, if I were to ask this source, show me the videos, do I put myself in worse legal jeopardy?
That's another distinct legal issue, right? It's like you're watching something that someone didn't know they were being recorded of doing, right? And so... it's dicey. It's dicey. Now, it would be different if you were an attorney and somebody's coming to you for purposes of defense or prosecution of a claim, a civil claim, or the filing, of some action to recover damages. That's a little different. But for purposes of, hey, look what I got, juicy gossip, and there are reporting outlets that I won't mention that will do stuff like this. I don't know that it's the smartest thing to do. I don't know that it's the careful thing to do. That's for sure. Or it's that it's the ethical or moral thing to do.
Yeah, it is exactly. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe this source will show you, and then you can verify what we know. But here's the other problem. Even if we verify what we know, like as I watched what Ariel, the lawyer, got these tapes, and even again, I don't want to get into the details, any remote details that could help explain or allude to even more of theories that are out there, or debunk or confirm. But I will say, hearing what I heard, which again isn't confirmation, but hearing what I heard, it makes me dislike what Ariel's doing even more, because I think there are going to be people out there, if this information does get out in some way, that are going to deny that these people are victims, that they're going to try to say, oh no, they're just consensually thing and they were hiding this affair and yada, yada, yada. And I don't see it that way personally. I mean, and granted, I haven't seen or know, like this isn't somebody involved from what I've gathered in these tapes of them, doing it to others in a way, criminally, like we've heard in some of these suits. This is just, it almost feels like, again, if it's real, like blackmail material that Diddy keeps to sort of hold over these people's heads. And to me, that's awful to the people in it, whether they agreed or knew or whatever. It still just feels like that's no one's freaking business. And maybe they were doing it for reasons we don't know. Just because we saw it on the tape doesn't mean they weren't feeling pressured in other ways, right? So it's a heavy and complicated thing, but it's not a hard decision to say, I can't run with trying to even allude to who these people are.
In desperation, Ross tried everything. Copyright claims to take the tapes down, million-dollar offers to find out who leaked them, and endless threats. But the damage was already done. His account got restricted multiple times, and even that didn't stop him. Things hit a new low when Ross started dragging other artists into the mess, exposing their secrets and tarnishing their reputations. Suddenly, the entire industry was picking sides, and Ross wasn't making it easy for anyone to support him.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, let's let this play out in the legal realm. If you ever get Ariel on your show, I'd love to talk with her and have this conversation if she's willing to do it publicly, because I still don't understand what her role is in all this. You know, and I've heard at times broker, I've heard at times advocate for victim, and I don't want to judge what she's doing or not doing. I'd love to just have a conversation about it, because I personally don't get it, right? This is a very sensitive thing. Again, if this gets turned over to the feds and the feds bring claims and this is outed, that's a totally different story. But the feds do what they're going to do. Like what we talked about months ago on your show, right? When this first went down, we knew when hard drives were seized and things happened that, look, they're going to build a case. They're going to build a case that they think they can prosecute. It's not for us to speculate what's there or what's not. But to say, you know, you have tangible evidence of something on camera that you've seen and that it's being sold in order to protect someone,
to avoid being publicly named, which is what even the lawyers are now admitting. It all feels really dirty and shady, man.
The only person that makes sense that could buy this is the victim, right? If the victim says, I don't want this to come out. Yes, it was consensual, but I don't want it to come out. I didn't know I was being recorded. Give it to that person.
Right, I guess, but you're right, because then they can actually own it. Maybe there is a version of this, and that's what Ariel's trying to allude to. You'll own it, and no other network's going to be able to buy it or show it if you own it and haven't given permission. I guess, is that maybe part of what they're trying to do here, in that the celebrity who buys it can actually then control it just from a clearance standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, look, it still raises some legal concerns, right? Because let me say it this way. If this was a transaction, if this is a business transaction wherein the victim is then acquiring the exclusive rights to this tape or tapes, and that the person who recorded it is avowing that they will not use it, I don't know where that leaves P. Diddy and the feds, right? But they have an independent right to bring this stuff to light if it gets prosecuted. But my point is, if you're transferring legal rights of this consensual or non-consensually recorded tape to the victim, I think that's a better position to be in. But then the question is this person even in a position to be able to buy the tape, right? Are they a high-level celebrity? Like, who are they? We can assume that they're celebrities with millions and millions of dollars to expend on something like this. Just raises a lot of questions, right?
The way people chose sides was shocking. Some of Ross's closest allies, like Meek Mill, were seen liking 50's posts. DJ Khaled, who built his career alongside Ross, went radio silent. Even French Montana, a longtime associate, started posting cryptic messages about karma. Meanwhile, younger artists like Future and Drake added fuel to the fire. Future posted himself listening to 50's * Many Men *, and Drake shared a cryptic caption about loyalty. The lines were drawn, and it was clear that this wasn't just about loyalty, it was about survival.
You understand? Me and him caught the plane. We was going to Vegas. And I gave him my card. My business card was savoir faire, security, management, and everywhere. You know what I mean? So 50 did a song about that. You know what I'm saying? And he put that in the song. And some years, about a year or so ago, not even a year or so ago, he said that when he dropped my name, he said, yo, I got the savoir faire. I got that from Big Gene. He been trying to tell y'all about this Puff shit years ago. But 50 was the type of dude that if you knew he was with you, he was with you. Even back then, he had your back whether you was security or whatever you did. If he was with you, he was with you. And that's what you gotta love about him. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta question his loyalty, you know what I'm saying, on some fight shit or if you in a situation. Cause he going out.
Well, I guess you were hanging around him or knew him, right before he got shot.
Well, what happened is that I had got some information. 50 came to my house. I tried to fit him on a vest, but I'm like, at the time I was like a 3X. And 50 was like a large, you know what I'm saying? So he couldn't really fit the vest, but I gave him a cover to try to tell him, because he had some pads, some vest pads. So I just told him what the situation was that I knew. And told him he had to watch himself because those cats was gonna come at him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah. And he was supposed to be going to Cancun. And I told him, if you come to Cancun, I got you, because I used to be down there doing security at Daddy-O's. You understand? And I had people down there that I knew that was from Puerto Rico, and they was working down there, so they should make sure when I hit the island, anything and everything I needed, I could get it right there on the island. You understand? They work directly with the syndicate. So 50 was supposed to come down there to do a show, and he didn't make it because they had shot him up. I don't know if he was coming in the first place, but he was supposed to, because he was paid half the money to come down there to perform How to Rob an Industry Cat.
And when was the next time you seen him after that?
The next time I seen 50 after that was at Jack the Rapper. He had blew up. Man. He was like, he was this dude and everything like that. And I was sitting we was in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting by myself, just chilling, and he had his whole entourage with him. He came directly over to me. He like, yo, Gene. I was like, yo, what up, Fit? I said, what up, 50? He said, what's up, man? He said, yo, put his hand out to me, and he grabbed my hand. He said, yo, they can't stop what God got planned. Went on about his business. And then he blew up crazy.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
How do you feel about 50 going so hard at Diddy with the documentaries and, what did he do to 50 that made him hate him so much, man? That's crazy.
Well, I think it's just, you got to look at it like this. 50 was writing a lot of shit that made a lot of money for Diddy. And he knew back then in the day, he didn't know what he know now, but Diddy was robbing him. You understand? Mm-hmm. Bringing those kids in and say, yo, here, write this verse for me, man, for this stuff like that, and giving them $5,000, you understand? Or $10,000, and you making $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe $2 million off of it, or $1 million, whatever the case may be. See, people call that good business. That's not good business. That's taking a person's talent, using it for your own self-indulgence, and not giving him what it's worth. When you could have been teaching these kids, you could have been helping these kids, and maybe these kids would have been helping you at the point you are right now. So, if that's the case, he have every right. But 50 is doing this for the culture. You understand? If it's going to be told, he going to have it, and it's going to be told the right way.
Label executives weren't playing either. Meetings were cancelled, festival lineups were rearranged, and studios started banning certain artists from booking together. Security at venues doubled. The tapes didn't just divide artists, they revealed the power dynamics of the industry. When old-school legends started choosing sides, it became clear who really held influence. And with 50 teasing even more footage, the fear of what could come next left everyone on edge.
The Southern District of New York, they took it upon themselves and put on that raid and everything based on the information they found in Cassie lawsuit and the information they found in Little Rod lawsuit. But all this is bigger than Diddy. It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City. They turn around and give him the key to the city. All the mayor people that he brought on here in New York City are all resigning. They all resigning. People ain't gonna tie this together, but if you look at it, you have to say, because of Mayor Adams and his relationship with Diddy, it brought on the Southern District of New York to start investigating Diddy on civil lawsuits that was put against him. Because the feds is going after all these politicians in New York City.
Yeah, the feds revealed that, anybody that, participated in any, criminal behavior at his freak-offs, they're going to pursue.
Listen here. The mayor here take like 15 spoons of sugar in his coffee. So it's all a possibility.
Do you think there's any celebrities on them tapes?
Bro, he gave celebrity parties. So what you think? I think they're not telling the whole truth, is that because of the situation in Miami and the situation in California, and they closed the clubs like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or something like that, that Justin and Christian was bringing big vans of girls and people back to the mansion and giving parties and stuff like that. And a lot of those stuff were their parties. A lot of that shit was their parties. They wasn't always Puff parties. It was his son's parties.
Good point. They said some of these freak-offs will last for days.
That's where they're going to get him on the sex trafficking thing. Especially like if he was traveling and doing it. That's where the sex trafficking come at. That you hiring sex workers to come and have sex with your girl? That's crazy. That's some Hollywood shit that I don't even know, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But they also claiming that, Diddy, he'll give ecstasy to his victims to keep them obedient.
Then they have to bring those witnesses in there. That's going to be something hard to prove. Unless Lil Rob or or Cassie state that was something that happened. That's how the prosecutor's going to prove that. They got a ton of evidence that they got to try to prove, bro. A lot of that shit that if you read it, it could be circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? But they got to have witness to back it up. You just can't say that happened based on somebody lawsuit and what the words that they're saying. They have to have witnesses in there. And I think Puff lawyers is going to be smart enough to attack that.
Right. And they claiming that Diddy, he was blackmailing his victims because he had videos from old freak-offs and he was using those videos to get his victims to do another freak-off. So
if he was blackmailing people, especially people that work for him, see, this is what it's going to get him at. See, people think that, those people work for him, or those people, if they was artists and they work for him, or they were engineers, or they anybody that worked for them and stuff like that, your boss cannot blackmail you to do nothing. If you do a sexual act or you doing anything, your boss, if he have you doing those things like that, then he could be liable for suit. Because you're not doing it willingly. Because that individual is your boss. So psychologically, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what nobody say. that when somebody has something over you, could determine your job, your career, your livelihood. That's somewhat of a blackmail if they holding stuff that they've done, that you've done in the past, over your head to make you continually doing that stuff. Now, that's where he loses at. Because some of those people worked for him, or he was a part of doing something. They was part of doing something for their career with him. That's why he loses that case.
This saga has changed the game forever. Artists are more cautious, private parties are no longer safe, and even casual conversations in studios are being monitored. The digital age has made it clear, your past can come back to haunt you. 50 Cent's long game was nothing short of legendary. The industry is more divided than it's been in decades, and nobody knows who might be next. What started as a beef between 50 and Ross has turned into a cautionary tale for the entire music world.